Hello, here with the BookTube Backstage Tag, original tag by Rainier Books. I first saw it on Steve Donoghue's channel for some reason. The prompts are, number one, what kind of camera do you use for your videos? I use the camera on my cell phone here. It's an LG G6. I think probably more important than what camera I use is that I think I have about 6 lights around me, and it's one of these things that, like, you can have a great camera, but if you do not have great lighting, your videos will look terrible. You know how grainy things get. Like, I don't use my overhead light, so like, yeah, that's how my picture would look if I just used the light in my room, which, I don't. But I think that's a big thing. I think this is probably BookTube 101. If you don't have a whole bunch of lights, these are all just household lights that I've rigged up. But if you don't have that, just make sure you maybe position yourself by a window. Because of the times that I actually have a chance to actually do videos, oftentimes I do them at night, or I do them at odd times, or it's raining outside or something like that. I don't want to be kind of wedded to the weather, so I have rigged up lights. But if you can't, just grab your phone and stick yourself near a window, get some natural light beaming at you, not beaming behind you, and all that sort of stuff, and go from there. So yeah, speaking about filming, because strangely enough, even in the most primitive sense, I become more aware of filming. Like, lights, you can never have enough lights, basically, is the lesson I have learned through BookTube. Speaking about filming, who is your favorite film director? God, you could go so many different directions like this. I've watched a lot of Alfred Hitchcock movies. I've watched a lot of Billy Wilder movies. I've watched, we've been watching, Shawn and I have been watching a lot of Hayao Miyazaki anime movies, Spirited Away, Kiki's Delivery Service, all those, just kind of going through that kind of catalog one per week, and that's been a lot of fun. So that's sort of, I guess those are the directors that I've done a lot of, and that I'm woefully, my aspiration this year is to become next level art film bro dude, with Dave White from Linoleum Knife, an excellent podcast on movie criticism. I listen to a lot of movie criticism. I listen to people talk about movies a lot. I don't actually get that much of a chance to watch them, so I'm going to try and watch like a movie a week, which might actually be a achievable thing. This isn't stuff I watch with Ja, but actually just like a movie I want to watch for myself, kind of very selfishly, kind of assume, kind of, and also probably not mainstream stuff, more kind of arty. For a guy who doesn't have a goals video on this channel, I have a lot of goals. We'll see what I make. Number 3, what microphone do you use, and what program do you use to edit your videos? For microphone, I talk loud. And my phone picks me up, and my wife always wonders what the hell's going on. But I found I use my phone, and I just try and I try and project my voice. So that's why I seem so shouty in my videos. Not all intimate and just you and me. It's I'm over here saying hi. That's probably going to be very annoying. As for what program do you use to edit your videos, I use Lightworks. I use the free version. Lightworks is a editing program which I really enjoy using. However, if I actually wanted to buy it or purchase the lease on it, it's like $30 a month, or I think it's like something like $525 to buy, and it's probably American, so add more money on top of that, and it's like I cannot afford that. But with Lightworks, you can simply sign in as a user, and every once in a while it'll say, "Oh, your free trial is expired," and you just put in your username, put in your password, and it continues. And until that loop closes, I really enjoy using Lightworks. So in penance for me, using up their thing, let me just say I really like Lightworks, and it's, if you're looking for, I obviously, because I'm using the free version, I'm only using the very most basic stuff, and really it's this head talking is all that I'm videoing. I can put pictures in it, and I can do various other things that, you know, even the free stuff that there's there is way beyond what I would ever actually end up using the program for. So this is my penance to Lightworks for sponging off of all their hard work. Is I try and mention it when I get asked that question. Number 4, because Rainier is big into music, his one of his things is, do you remember the first record you bought or received as a gift? And I mean, I think he says in his video, okay, by record, I don't mean an actual record. You know, this can be, you know, you kids out there who have no idea, but actually I'm an old enough geezer that I remember that, like, this is the first records that I would like listen to on my my parents' turntable. I'm pretty sure it was like Beatles, like the Revolver record, and just kind of putting it on and putting my head between the speakers and like, wow, listening to all the different sounds in there, and just being really, really enthused by that. And, you know, Dire Straits' Brother in Arms came later, but I also had the record of that, and just like, Mark Knopfler's, you know, all that wonderful soundscape. It was just, yeah. Those are my nostalgia things for actual records. Yes, those 12-inch things, vinyl things. They probably weren't even vinyl by that point. I don't know. I don't have any now. I'm not some kind of hipster I am a hipster doofus, but I'm not that kind of a hipster doofus. Number 5, how do you prepare your videos? Talking points or a detailed script, or just talking? And I have a talking point here, which is talking points ... which is, yeah, I don't have enough together to just kind of talk off the cuff. That said, I try and make notes, and then I usually get enthusiastic, and then I just go on and on and on and on, and I end up with super long videos. But yeah, a detailed script, I think I would just be down here. And to be honest, I mean, I respect the people who can do detailed scripts and come off as highly polished in their videos. Well, we're going to get to that, but that's probably not actually the kind of video I like to watch, and it's not the kind of video I'm really interested in producing. I'm highly polished, luckily, is not one of my goals for my videos, so accomplishment unlocked. Number 6, TV shows have become the thing of our time. Game of Thrones, Stranger Things, Netflix, HBO, and Amazon. What are your favorite TV shows ever? Name a maximum of 3. You know, and see, you could go like old school, and it's probably kind of like, you know, the Buffy, Joss Whedon kind of universe, what seems to be increasingly problematic Joss Whedon universe. Probably like something like Deadwood or the British Utopia. Both shows that I never actually, I think, ever saw the end of, but I really enjoyed them when they were at their height of things. And Utopia, speaking of music, has a soundtrack by Cristobal Tapia de Veer. And that soundtrack I used to write to. It is a wonderfully creepy electronic-y kind of soundtrack, which I love. Probably of stuff that's actually going at the moment, probably Better Call Saul, which, I mean, is probably seen as the boring, we don't have excitement kind of happening of Breaking Bad, but I'm really, really enjoying Better Call Saul. That to me is just really riveting TV of kind of the slow kind of transformation of Saul Goodman, and the various other characters on that show is just really, really engrossing TV. Yeah, that's probably, yeah, my top TV picks at the moment. And a special mention I put down here for Made in Canada, 1998, 2003, kind of a satiric comedy show, Canadian content here, Made in Canada. Satiric look at how TV is made. It was basically a show about making cheap shows. This really cynical production company that's just like, look, we need to churn out this sausage, and here are all the steps. And it being like actually a really good kind of fictional kind of media literacy course on how television is made, and oftentimes the very financial reasons why things get churned out. And I mean, and in the Canadian context of, we're basically making stuff that we're hoping to sell to the Americans. We're hoping to sell to the international market because Canada does not have the population to actually be able to support anything other than that, other than trying to sell it to other people and usually strip off everything Canadian about it in its worst case scenario to try and kind of pass ourselves off as some kind of faded American carbon copy, which made in Canada, when marketed in the foreign things, is known as the industry. So we've stripped off the show itself strips off the Canada part to be able to sell itself. So I thought that was a little humorous little tidbit that I noticed as I was looking up its entry in Wikipedia. Okay, there's a diversion. Number 7, what kind of BookTube videos do you prefer to watch and why? And so, yeah, I guess, as I said, I'm not as much for the scripted. When it comes to BookTube, I'm not as much for scripted stuff. Even though hats off, I think he actually mentioned a fellow Canadian, Rainier mentioned a fellow Canadian, the Poptimus, who is probably one of the rare guys who was like, yeah, he puts this stuff together really well, scripted, tight, and actually I do enjoy, because I think he's able to actually kind of preserve his personality in it. I think some other people maybe not so much, or it just comes off as a little bit aloof, or like I'm making a show versus this is just me talking, and I guess I'm a just me talking kind of guy. Surprise. So yeah, like hodgepodges, I like chats, I like Friday reads, I like discussions, rants. Probably only Steve Donoghue's book haul videos, because even if he's hauling a book, he already knows everything about the book, so he's able to talk about it in an interesting way, versus got this book. It's just not my thing. And tags. Yeah. Let's not be a hypocrite. I enjoyed the odd tag and read-alongs. And reviews of books that I want to dive deeper into. I make a lot of reviews on this channel, and I understand, like, if you're not interested in the book yet, or if it's something like, you don't want to hear me yak about it for 15 minutes before you get to read it, you're probably not going to want to listen to my review about it yet. So it's funny how even a guy who I feel like I'm fairly review heavy on this channel, reviews come down the list in the community part of BookTube, even though hopefully it'll be a useful thing, a thing of kind of distant community for people in the future who might have wanted to, read one of the books that I've reviewed and check back on what this bozo had to say about it at the time, if only to go, yeah, he's really wrong there. Number 8. Watching TV was probably a part of all our childhoods. These years have become less popular. What kind of media user are you? Yeah. I mean, TV was the main thing God, as a child, is like, coming home from school, you'd sit down, video hits, you'd watch Gilligan's Islands, you'd watch The Brady Bunch, Three's Company. It's all those shows are sort of burned into my brain as just, they were on TV and I was a kid, so I just sort of watched those. The Dukes of Hazzards, oh God, just all the horrible, terrible television that I would watch as a kid. So nowadays, it's like, we have a television, we have cable subscription, and there's other people in the household who watch that. I still watch television, and I mean television shows. At the moment, I'm watching, finally, very late to the party, watching Schitt's Creek with Ja, which is funny because it's like, very typical Canadian thing. It's like, I saw the advertisements for that on the CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, when it came out, and I had the typical Canadian response, which was, oh, it's another lame Canadian show. Never mind. But as it's slowly gotten, I've heard so many Americans tell me about Schitt's Creek that I was like, I guess I should check this out. And you watch the first it's okay, and then the characters suddenly glom onto you, and you're into it. You get interested into the characters, and maybe it gets better, but you also kind of, you're in prison, so we're slowly working our way through that. An episode or two a day, or it has been a while now, but yeah, slowly going through that. So, and we're watching that on Netflix. So there's a lot of Netflix in the thing. That's why, yeah, Miyazaki, all the watching those with Ja in the weekend. It's like, I'll watch a movie a weekend. But yeah, I mean, for me, otherwise, it's like a ton of podcasts, a lot of stuff on film, Linoleum Knife, critically acclaimed, a lot of kind of film things, even though I don't watch that much film, but I enjoy hearing other people talk about them. A ton of YouTube. Yeah, a lot of that being BookTube, a lot of that being entertainment stuff. I listen to the CBC, basically their radio podcast, news podcast in the morning, and the BBC, and we have a subscription to the electronic New York Times, and I always like, I do the New York Times, I do the Guardian, I do the CBC website kind of the news, and then for little alternative reality, I go over and I scroll through the Fox News thing just to see. It's like, okay, this is what everybody else is saying, and it's like, oh, this is what Fox News is saying, and that's always been it's a good reality check with, like, okay, this is what this half of the America thinks, but oh god, this is what this half of the America thinks. So it's to try and increase my awareness of the world and the sleeping, drunken, crazed giant beneath me, which has some very nice, really cool people who I've come to know through YouTube, through BookTube. BookTube has got to be a great ambassador for the United States, at least the little section that I have, because there's a lot of American BookTubers, you may have noticed, and yeah, that's been an interesting thing, as well as UK. And many other countries as well. So yeah, that, and not on Twitter, not on Facebook, not on those kind of social media things don't interest me, and I'm bad with them. I'm bad with the comment section in YouTube. So basically, Twitter and Facebook and all that are basically giant comment sections, which just. All right. So this has been a long video again. Oh boy, let's try and get it under 20 minutes. Eight prompts. So you can tag up to 8 people. I don't know. I dissed a lot of booktubers in my last video. I didn't diss them, but I disagreed politely with some of some books that, maybe they care about, they don't care about that much. They've all been kind and ignored me. Except for Dane, who is just an awesome guy all around, and he's great. So yes, Dane Reads, Shawn the Book Maniac, and he's having a great conversation as we speak. Well, not as we speak, but it's been released as I speak, with Gunpowder Fiction and Plot, Nell and Scott, and Shawn's conversations with various people, with authors, with booktubers, with translators, has just been such a great boon to the thing. So Shawn, I don't care if you do the tag, but hey, go watch Shawn's videos. He is amazing. James Holder, Jason at Old Blues Chapter and Verse, Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, the Book Zealots. All great channels. I would tag Brian at Bookish, but because his hodgepodge videos are definitely a highlight of my weekends. I can wake up and I can watch one of those, and that's always great to check in with Brian. But he's already been tagged. He was tagged in the original thing, so I'm not tagging you, Brian, because you've already been tagged. You are BookTube royalty already. All right. That is all my babbling, and I'm going to stop right now before we get to 20 minutes. More videos later.